Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang One, back to do another Transformers review. This is one that I've been meaning to do, and I keep putting it off, and I keep never getting around to it. So today I'm finally doing it, right? This also gives me an opportunity to get rid of the toys packaging because that's just taking up unnecessary space when I could be filling that up with other random shit, as I'm sure you will all greatly appreciate. So this is a review for another sort of semi-modern figure. Came out in the last couple of years and I've looked over it objectively, and I've tried very hard to find fault with it, and I'm struggling. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you draw your own conclusions on this one. This is the review for Titan's Return, Triggerhappy.
Okay, so this is Triggerhappy in his box, in his packaging. The boxes and the packaging for deluxes and everything like that round about this time were pretty standardized. Uh, so you've got your cardboard backing, you've got your insert bubble at the front and everything like that. Not really a lot to speak of. On the back, you've got the standard product shots. I'll just raise that a little bit. You've got the standard product shots for the figure and robot mode, the Headmaster, and the alt mode as well, and also just a little bit of stuff on the side saying how Headmasters work if you're an absolute fucking idiot. I think the Titans Return line sort of suffered a little bit by everybody has to be a Headmaster, including what used to be the old Targetmasters. I think a better way of doing the Titans Return line would have been those who were Headmasters be Headmasters, and those who were Targetmasters keep them as Targetmasters. So the Titan Master could have been the weapon, but it's just a shame they didn't go down that route. As a result, you've got Triggerhappy with Blowpipe just there, and Blowpipe was his original Targetmaster, but now Blowpipe forms the head instead of the weapon. So yeah, apart from that, not a hell of a lot to say about this. I mean, this is one of the reviews I'm taking the opportunity to get rid of the packaging afterwards, because I've been keeping this for years with the intention of doing this review, and I'm finally getting around to it. So yay, go me and shit like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we get this bastard out of his plastic prison and get into the figure itself? Okay, so here is Triggerhappy in his Cybertronian jet alt mode thing. Although I'm not sure if you can class him as Cybertronian, because by the time the Headmasters and like Series 3 came around, there is an argument to be made that it was set 20-25 years in the future. So a lot of these designs could have been future Earth-based designs, but whatever. Let's call it Cybertronian mode, for example. And I just want to say right off the bat that this thing is sex. It really is. It's one of the rare occasions where they've done a modern update of an existing decades old G1 figure, and they absolutely nailed the fuck out of it. I mean, Triggerhappy was always a mean looking arm to the teeth robot and jet, and this thing carries over all the really important details fantastically. There's a couple of similar parts to the transformation, but apart from that, this thing is kind of unique. Apart from the, well, I say unique, I think Misfire got taken from the same mold in Titan's Return as Triggerhappy, but whatever. This thing here is absolutely stunning. Right down to the perfect Decepticon logo just there, which means I haven't got to put one on myself. Some interesting carryovers from the G1 version, which obviously would be the double-barreled cannons just here, the gold double rocket boosters at the back. I think even the G1 had the tail fins at the top here. But let's get him out of the way for a moment. Let's just show some of the things that Triggerhappy came with. He would have come with an instruction booklet, which for some reason, I don't know where the fuck I've put that, but I have got it somewhere. He came with a nice little piece of artwork on a tech spec card. So yeah, just take your time to fill those in. Yeah, whatever that is. The artwork on it is pretty decent. If I can get the bastard to focus, there we are. Artwork's pretty decent. He came with two of these because he's not a target master now, he's a headmaster. So he came with two cannons which can fit together. Where is it? They can fit together into one double cannon thing that you can put on things like Fortress Maximus or I don't know, Scorponok or whatever the case, and little Titan Masters can sit in here and fire the guns and be all sort of like pew 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 or whatever. And he also comes with Blowpipe. Blowpipe is now his Headmaster. No discernible detail on the. Let's see if I can't get that to focus. No, just I mean, there is detail on the face, but none of it's picked out by paint or anything, which is a shame. It would have been nice to have seen some of those accents brought out. Articulation wise, I mean, his legs move and everything for transformation. They're double pinned, so that's not exactly the same as the original Headmasters. And his arms will move. It's a little bit tricky to do that. Pull him out a little bit. That's about as much articulation as you get really at the Targetmasters. And his purpose is to be Triggerhappy's head. So in order to do that, the transformation is exactly the same as it would have been on an original G1 Headmaster. You bend them over and you bend them over again. Except on the original ones, they would have had a panel here just to flip up to show off the face. Sadly, these ones don't have that. So in robot mode, they're walking around with the face on their backs, which is a bit. I've never liked it, to be honest. I've never liked that. But there we are. Not a lot we can do about that. At least with the G1s, you could cover that over with a little plate. But on these ones, no, which is a shame. But I guess you can't have everything. With what they give with one hand, they cruelly take away with another. And speaking of what they give with one hand, let's take a look really properly at this bastard. Now, I wish I'd have had the instructions, because the transformation for Triggerhappy is not complicated, but because I've not done it since I bought the bastard, like sort of 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, I got a little bit confused. But I've sussed it out now. It's all good. The transformation is not tricky. I'll come on to that in a minute. I just want to talk about some of the things that this alt mode offers. It offers a cockpit for little blowpipe to sit in, and we can put him in like that. Granted, a little bit awkwardly. His legs are supposed to tuck under the cockpit. There we are. Sit him down like that, and then we pull the canopy down, and then that is a blowpipe in Triggerhappy's cockpit. So yeah, looks cool. Looks really, really cool. The small amount of paint that this thing has, they've used to full effect, just to pick out like sort of little details on the plane body, which will automatically go into the robot body. Let's get him back out of there. Some nice, a little bit of sculpted detail on the inside of the cockpit. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see any of that, but there's a little bit of sculpted detail in there. It's awesome. It really, really, really. I mean, I know I rag on new figures quite a lot, especially when they deserve it. But this guy here, I mean, the only gripes I would say with this figure are the joints on mine are not loose, but they're not super stiff. So sometimes fucking around with it can cause a bit of an issue, because you're moving limbs when you don't want to move limbs. But now that he doesn't have a Targetmaster, his Targetmaster would have like sort of sat there originally on the original. Now his alt mode is even more armed to the teeth. All we've got to do is just take it apart, separate them, and put them in the corresponding holes, just like that. And now Triggerhappy is, quite frankly, an angel of death. Now you would argue, quite rightly so, that this is probably a little overkill. He's got fucking 6 guns waiting to go there, and possibly these little ones here, if you had the imagination to do that. It's a little bit overkill, but then again, having a Targetmaster that was a double cannoned fighter jet thing was probably a bit overkill in G1 as well. At some stage, I am going to do a separate series of reviews on a separate folder called Who Did It Better, and I'm going to try and compare one particular character and all the different variations of that character that I've got in toy form, just to see really who is the best out of all of them. As I've only got 2 Triggerhappys, for example, that should be quite easy to do that video. Well, maybe not actually, because there's a lot of things that G1 did right, and there's a lot of things that this one does right. But it takes many design cues, obviously, from the original, but at the same time, it stands alone as its own figure, which is something not a lot of fucking toys can say, really. So I'm quite happy with that. The overall shape, the aesthetic, how they've managed to make something look aerodynamic whilst having all these janky, sharp angles and edges and everything like that. It is absolutely gorgeous. The color scheme is on point. Really well done. Really well done. Not a hell of a lot. I mean, if we turn it over, you might get a rough idea of where the legs are supposed to be. and obviously the arms will come out of the wings and everything like that. But for the most part, that is a tidy alt mode, and not a hell of a lot of indication of the robot within. Yeah, that is beautiful, beautiful sculpting. Really, really well done. I can't really say much more than that, really. So I am going to take a sip of tea, ladies and gentlemen, while you bask in the glory of that beautiful, beautiful jet mode. Sex. And we are going to move right on into the transformation. So for the transformation, we are going to detach. Hang on, let's maybe pull this back a little bit. There we go. We are going to detach the secondary guns off the wings, and we are going to close up that little landing gear. See, the landing gear has sculpted detail. How awesome is that? So get rid of that. Get rid of these. Get rid of all that external shit. Then we want to pull apart the wing sections just like that, and possibly can that that stays where it is. All right, so we want to take these down and separate them like that, bring them out to the front. So you could have a Cybertronian fucking third mode just like that. I mean I know it looks awkward as fuck. Do a little bit of repositioning of certain things and that, but even that looks evil, you know. Fantastic stuff. Then we want to separate the back of the jet like this, and then fold out this section, bring down these two tabs here for the feet, and then that will also bring out his heel spurs, and then separate the legs like this. Okay. Then we want to detach the nose cone of the jet. We want to spin round this section, this entire assembly. Hang on, let's get that shit out of the way. Spin around this entire assembly like this. Okay. Spin round the bottom of this assembly, the hip thing. Don't know how well I'm showing this on camera, but you know what? I might have to come out even further. So do that. So spin this section around like that. Lock this into place. Bring the nose cone all the way back down to the back like that. Okay. And that's virtually the body done. Then we want to bring the wings back. We want to bring the double cannons up to the side, and then bring out the hand tab, and then lock that entire assembly down and then in like that. That forms the arm section on that side. Okay, so you want to do the same on this side. Fold down the wing, bring out the double arm cannon, fold out the tab for the hand, push down, and then lock in the arm assembly. And then that right there is the body done. Okay, let's come back in. Then we want to take blowpipe, I guess, and then fold him over and fold him over again. That forms the head. And then just basically put the head on top of the shoulders. Now the problem with this is blowpipe's neck joint, because the head is articulated like that, as you can see, because that neck joint is a little bit loose, sometimes it's a bit difficult to get this head to connect into that section just there without moving. See what I mean? Alright, come on. Fuck you. Haha! Until it clips into place. And there we have, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Triggerhappy in robot mode. And what a fucking robot mode that is. Clean, absolutely smooth. You can sort of understand why I might have got a little bit confused with the transformation, because I haven't done it for a while. Let's try and get some light on this bastard. You can see why I might have got a little bit confused with the transformation. But all in all, he is a fantastic toy. yeah, alt mode is smooth as fuck. The robot mode is beautiful, tall, lithe, like sort of armored. You can tell this guy means heavy business. He really does. Let's give him his guns in his hands. There's one there. If you want to, I mean, you can probably even store these somewhere else if you want, like on the back of the wings or whatever. So he does have that option. But there we are. That right there, with a little bit of articulation in all the places you expect to find it. See what I mean? About you go to move something and another limb moves the way you don't want it to. But there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That is Titan's Return. Titan's Return Triggerhappy. And I'm glad. I don't remember where I got him. I don't remember how much I paid for him. All I know is that I did. I can't get any fucking decent light on this bastard. Jesus, fuck me. I don't remember how much I paid for him or where I got him. All I know is that I obviously did, and I don't regret that particular life choice. So yeah, if you haven't got one of these, go ahead and get one. This is a faithful update of a Generation 1 character, and it's done right. There is nothing here which makes you go, oh, I wouldn't have done that personally. Do you know how some reviews go, or I've been certainly guilty of doing it, where I go, maybe an extra panel here to flip down and maybe a little choice of this, blah, blah. I can't say any of that on this at all. Yeah, I'm absolutely thoroughly impressed. A beautiful robot mode, a beautiful design on the alt mode. Everything just works together. The only thing I would have done is I possibly wouldn't have made him a Headmaster. I would have still made Blowpipe the Targetmaster and differentiated the Titanmasters in terms of Headmasters and Targetmasters. That's the only thing I would have done. But apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, that is Titan's Return Triggerhappy with Headmaster Companion Blowpipe. Thank you very much for watching this review, such as it was. It might have rambled a little bit. It might have gone a little bit skew-whiff on occasion because I'm not very good at sitting behind a camera and talking shit. Mind you, I'm not very good at these full stop, you might have noticed. But I will be back next week with another review. Until we see each other again, thank you for watching this. If you haven't got one of these, I know it's rare that I really recommend a figure, but if you haven't got one of these, fucking go out and get one of these if the price isn't too prohibitive, because this guy is fucking awesome. And I fucking wish I'd managed to get hold of Misfire, you know, before his prices went up to like 2 kidneys and a half a curly whirly. Seriously, if you can get hold of this guy, do it, because he is money well spent. He really is money well spent. I've got absolutely no regrets about this figure whatsoever. So, as I say, some point in the near future, I'll be doing maybe fortnightly or monthly. I'll be doing a Who Did It Better video where I will compare different variations of a character in its different toy forms. So, until we see each other again, thank you for watching this. This has been Gerard Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I'll be back with more reviews, more 7 Days to Die. I've got my program starting soon with I'm talking to collectors. In fact, by the time this goes out, that might have already started. I don't know. I put so many videos up between now and the end of the year. I've got like 40 videos lined up, so I don't know what I've got coming up and what I haven't and what dates, but whatever. Yeah, this has been me. This has been him. And I will see you soon. Until then, take care.